Video games and controversies go together like peanut butter and bagels, or peanut butter and jam, or peanut butter and banana, or peanut butter and pickles. I heard someone say that once, and I don't know that's good, but I've heard someone say that it's really delicious. Video game controversies have been going on since the dawn of time. But what are the greatest ones? Let's check out Diamond Bolt's video on the subject and see.
If history has taught us one thing, it's that gamers will get mad at anything. Sometimes
Facts.
over very understandable things like deceptive marketing and predatory in-game monetization, but mostly over really stupid shit like puddles, reused boat animations, and women. The history...
Damn those women, how dare they. The reused animations thing actually gets me because I saw someone tweet something about Spider-Man's web-swinging animation, like, the new Spider-Man game has the same web-swinging animation as the first Spider-Man game. Lazy developers. I'm like, bro, how do you want him to swing? What else is he supposed to do? He does the whoosh. What is he gonna do? What do you want Spider-Man to swing like? He puts his arm in the air, web comes out, hangs onto it. What else is the poor fella supposed to do?
Video game controversies is not really a fun one at all for the most part, to be honest.
Also, I hope that every video game developer reuses animations from every game, because who cares? Zelda and Link might have the same running down the animation from Breath of the Wild. Does that reduce the quality of the game? No, it just lets the developers spend time working on other things, like big dragon tail animations that are really long, and are like, oh, that's a cool animation that is.
Because as we all know, the gamer, when threatened, will always bust out their most reliable tool, the death threat.
I'll come out of my house and I'll break your fucking legs, you little prick!
There have been
Happiest man that lives in Birmingham.
a lot of really terrible things in the gaming industry that people have gotten very reasonably angry about, but as I'm sure we all know by now, it's always
The fruits could use some work? Who cares? Is this what you want people to spend development time on? Really? There's a lot of things wrong with Halo Infinite. There's a lot of things that they could fix about that game. Is it the bananas that are the biggest issue that we need to pay attention to right now,
the
though?
really dumb stuff that gets people the most upset. And so today, I wanted to have a look at some video game controversies. Some big ones, some smaller ones, but mostly just ones I thought were kind of funny. So, I wanted to start with the one that will be remembered for generations as one of the most important human rights movements in history. The Star Wars Battlefront 2 controversy. Before the game came out, EA announced that they plan to incorporate a loot box system that would basically allow players to just pay more money to be
I love gambling.
and skip ahead on the extremely long time it would take to do it normally. To unlock one of the more obscure characters in the game, like, you know, Darth Vader, one guy worked out in a Reddit post that in order to unlock enough in-game currency to get him, it would take about 40 hours of grinding.
Well, guys, I think that that's fine. Because as players, we want a sense of accomplishment when we unlock characters in a Star Wars game like Darth Vader. I want to be able to feel the pride that I truly earned this with my money. When I go out and I put in my shift at the factory, earning under minimum wage because my boss hates me and wants me to die in the machine. I know that eventually I'll be able to afford to play as Darth Vader in the game that I paid full price for already after paying an additional $80. I think it's a good thing.
Or you could just pay them like $80. This prompted EA's official community account to respond to the post with the now legendary comment, "The intent was to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes," and a bunch of other stuff that nobody read because they were already too busy turning it into a copy paste.
Pride and accomplishment. Nothing makes me feel more proud of myself and more accomplished in my actions than spending $80 on loot boxes to unlock Darth Vader in a Star Wars game.
But you didn't just mess with any site, EA. You messed with Reddit. And hell hath no fury like Reddit scorn. This reply quickly became the most disliked comment in Reddit history with over 600,000 downvotes and prompted an influx of hate posts and the same like 4 EA memes being posted in every single gaming subreddit, which they still
I love how most video game companies would do this if they could nowadays, but there is always one. There's the main character of Twitter. If you don't know what that is when every single day on Twitter, there's a main character. There was someone that's popping off. There is someone that is getting slammed on Twitter. And the main character that day was EA. There are so many other game companies. If they were able to, they'd love to do that. They think it's great. They look at AI. with drooling lips thinking, one day I'll be able to do that. One day Halo will be able to charge an additional $100 to play as Master
To
Chief.
this day, I think, have not gotten sick of yet. EA's response to this, of course, was just to lower the cost of credits you needed. That wasn't the problem. I do think they
Pride and
removed
accomplishment.
microtransactions entirely on launch day, I guess out of fear of more banger Reddit memes. But Wikipedia says they still lost about $3 billion in stock value before the launch of the game because of the extreme negative reaction. So I think
We did it, Reddit.
one of the only times that getting really mad about something on social media has actually accomplished something. The uproar was so huge, in fact, that it even caught the attention of a few world governments who thought, wait a minute, these loot box things are kind of like gambling, eh? All except the UK, of course, who thought loot boxes were pretty sick, actually. I don't...
Damn it. Why? You'd think the USA would be the one that's like, oh, dude, this is awesome. We love this. Money? More money? Oh, dude, that's great. Hold on. But no, of course it's the UK. Thanks,
I don't
guys.
think anything was actually done about it, but I am sure they certainly thought about it for at least a couple minutes. Though I do think this is one of the major reasons you're now seeing games stealing your money with battle passes instead of loot box systems. Eventually, microtransactions did get added back into the game because of course they were, but at least in a very...
That's what they do. It's the little sneaky tactic. We called it the sneaky switch, where they take out something that has people angry as the game releases, and they release some kind of Twitter post that's like, to our community, we have heard you. You've raised your voices and made yourself known. We will remove the loot boxes that we were going to introduce. Our goal was to give our players a pride and accomplishment from opening things, and it was gonna make us a lot of money. But we care about our audience and our community. So, in response to your wonderful voices rising up in a crescendo at once, we will be removing it. But we will also be adding it back later when you forget about it and when there's a smaller audience that probably won't complain that much because they're all whales and they're probably addicted to the game anyway, so... We're excited for that. That's going to be awesome. We'll make a lot of money off that too. Woo.
Very drastically different state to what they originally planned. So we did it, Reddit. Moving on from one of the greatest conflicts in human history to another. A gigantic mega
What was that clip?
corporation versus the guys who made Fortnite. Epic Games, who were clearly not satisfied with the measly $6 billion a year Fortnite makes, got tired of Google and Apple taking a 30% cut of all revenue from mobile versions of the game, and so introduced a direct debit option with a small discount where you could just send your money directly to Tim Sweeney's bank account, I guess. Obviously, this annoyed Apple quite a bit, who found it in violation of their store policy, and so removed Fortnite from the App Store entirely. Oh god, no! Now that the player base had obviously noticed, Epic Games struck back.
This ad
with
was
an animation
insane.
parodying Apple's dystopian 1984 commercial called 1980 Fortnite. What the fuck? Which they...
What is going on? Dude, when two massive companies fight each other like this and they both pretend like they have the consumers' hearts and minds and at the forefront, it is so funny. They make a 1984-esque commercial about Apple being the worst in the world when, you know, Fortnite just wants to farm more money. It's weird because I don't like either of them in this scenario. I think that Fortnite trying to, like, scum a little bit more money is like, oh, well, you already have enough, don't you? You're a massive game company, whatever. You already have so much money. But also Apple charging a massive premium on top of whatever you usually have to pay in the App Store is way too much. And, well, you know, they run the App Store. They do have a monopoly on the App Store because it's not like you can use anything else on your iPhone. It's not like I can just go to a different shop to compete. There's no competition within the Apple ecosystem because you have to use the Apple App Store as well. So I don't like Apple in this situation either, but this is just funny.
Screened in-game to rile up their 10-year-old fan base enough to band together and begin the hashtag Free Fortnite movement to try and pressure Apple into changing their minds. And this also brought about an entire market on eBay of people selling their used iPhones with Fortnite still installed.
Oh, that's like when people did the same for Angry Birds, except it's Fortnite. $12,000!
Don't delete
Fortnite.
You can't re-download it. Don't delete
Fortnite.
You can't don't delete.
From there, the whole
Dude, who plays mobile Fortnite that much? Is it really that important to people? Listen, I know that Fortnite's a fun game. I think it's really fun. I think that people should play it from time to time. The no-build mode is actually pretty cool, but It's mobile version's that good?
To court, and there's a whole novel's worth of info about it on Wikipedia if you want, but basically, Apple won in the end, and you still can't play Fortnite on the App Store, so well done to Epic Games for that one.
It's
Honestly,
still
I'm
off?
not really sure who to side with here, because I hate both of these companies, but can we all agree at least that the 1980 Fortnite thing was really funny? Bit of a smaller one for this next one.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
so dumb that I just had to bring it up. An article written by game journalist James Davenport called "I Beat Sekiro's Final Boss with Cheats and I Feel Fine," where he wrote about how he used cheat codes to slow down the game and make it easier for himself, was clearly intended to rile up some people given the title, but I don't think he expected to unleash the wrath of a horde of angry
Oh no, it's the Twitter Blue users.
FromSoft fans telling him to go and off himself.
To even say you beat the final boss is both an incredible disrespect to the devs and to anyone with a pair of balls who actually beat it. To everyone in the comment section being mad because we're criticizing someone for playing a solo game the way they want to play it. Not the point. By any stretch of the imagination, this is a game journalist. This dipshit's job is to play games as presented and report on it. Man, why are they so mad? Do people care this much?
Because he wasn't playing the game properly, which all culminated with maybe one of the funniest tweets of all time.
No! You cheated not only the game, but yourself. You didn't grow. You didn't improve. You took a shortcut and gained nothing. You experienced a hollow victory. Nothing was risked and nothing was gained. It's sad that you don't know the difference. Wow. Does that not read like a pure Twitter user? Oh, you didn't beat Sekiro without using cheats? You loser. You absolute degenerate of a human. Just crawl back into your mother's vagina. You don't deserve to live with the rest of us manly men who know how to parry and dodge roll in Sekiro. That's funny though.
Which itself was then clowned on by about half of Twitter, where even the official Sonic the Hedgehog account stepped in to once again show off how incredibly based it is.
Yeah, the Sonic the Hedgehog account's pretty funny.
Okay, I know I've been
Also, if you want to send me any Sonic merch, Sonic, you can DM me if you want. It's cool.
looking at mostly newer stuff in this video so far, but I did want to have a look at one of the most classic game controversies of all time, and look back on the hysterical panic caused by Pokemon's immense popularity in the 90s.
In my opinion, parents should not let their kids watch Pokemon, play Pokemon, buy Pokemon cards, have anything whatsoever to do with Pokemon, because the message is violence.
Of course, because it became so
Because the message is that's why?
immediately popular and kids were enjoying it and having fun, it was instantly condemned by
Saudi issues fatwa against Pokemon. What? Okay, I'm a little bit of an ignorant British man. I don't know. Okay, so it's just a legal ruling. Okay, I didn't really know what that meant.
numerous religious groups, but most specifically extreme Christian organizations, who began claiming it was promoting satanic values because I guess the series' focus on evolution goes directly against creationist beliefs or something.
This character.
Hey, listen. So, listen. Okay, if it's promoting satanic values, all right, maybe it is. I mean, it's not. But what if it is? I thought this was a country built on freedom. Because it's all the Yanks in America that complain about this kind of thing because they love doing like the culture war thing. They've been doing it for 20 years now. Wow. Then it was Pokemon. Then it was like gay people. Now it's trans people. They always want something, some kind of minority to dunk on. Who cares? Yeah, it promotes satanic values. I thought you were liking the freedom though. You're saying that the government should step in and suppress the religious freedoms of the Satanists.
Over here is called Mewtwo, and he's in this pose. Every time that you see Mewtwo, he's in this pose. Now he has 3 fingers. It means
What does that
Hail
do?
Satan.
I'm sure maybe you've seen
What?
a clip of the Pokemon Power video.
That means hail Satan?
Pokemon world is a world of the demonic, of the satanic. But while you might not take it quite seriously, I assure you that demons take it quite seriously. Satan takes it quite seriously.
It's a little harder to find examples nowadays of how prevalent it was because a lot of it would have
Jeff Bezos held a Pikachu?
on like local news stations and newspapers and stuff, but it got so bad that even the Vatican had to step in the early 2000s and be like, hey, this Pokemon shit's kind of dope. Relax.
Your children knew.
I love how the Pope always has to step in when like the fundamentalists go a little bit too far. And they're like, oh, just Jesus Christ, fucking just calm down. Okay, they don't say Jesus Christ because they're not. I don't think you're allowed to do that if you're a Christian. They're like, oh my God, calm down. This thing's fine. Stop complaining so much. Jesus, oh, you're so annoying. They did it for Pokemon. Then they came out and they were like, yeah, gay people are fine. Like, just shut up.
need to know there's a devil and he hates them and he wants to ruin their life.
Now, I did think to start this video with the Mortal Kombat and Night Trap court hearings in the mid-90s when people were worried the games were sending their kids to hell, which arguably is one of the biggest controversies in gaming history that basically saw the creation of the ESRB's game rating systems that the people they are made for still ignore. But I basically already covered that in like videos I've done before on like game censorship and ratings in video games, so I didn't think I needed to go over it again. But despite the fact that it has been proven like 100 times that there's no link between video games and real-life violent behavior, and that gaming has become considerably more prevalent in our culture since the 90s. I'm not seeing enough movement. You still do.
That's so... Dude, poor Ninja. He's gonna have to live that down for the rest of his life. Oh my god. That was the worst moment of all time. That clip breaks my heart every time I see it. Poor Ninja, that he had to go through that. That must have ripped his soul from his body and sent it directly to the Shadow Realm. Poor guy.
You do get the occasional "is Fortnite turning your kids into a violent murderer" news report every now and then. Fox News, for example, in their infinite wisdom, once called Mass Effect a sex simulator because there are like 5-second long romance scenes in that game.
And here's how they're seeing women. They're seeing them as these objects of desire, as these, you know, hot bodies. I mean, they don't show women as being valued for anything other than their sexuality.
Cooper, have you ever played Mass Effect?
No.
It's really hard to know.
Have you ever played it? No. Oh no. Wait, Fox News? What do you mean? Conservatives love it when women are seen as like objects of desire.
What was actually a big deal at the time, because these news stories always make these things out to be like the end of the world.
Plenty of what's known here as hentai games.
But history repeated itself in 2016 when Pokemon Go first came out, and it cannot be understated how huge this game was when it
Hentai games, where they at?
Go to the polls.
So cringe. Oh god, I hate this. I hate this so much. This is the worst thing. You are the worst. You suck.
With a game this big, it was inevitable that they would have some absolute dumbasses playing it, like the people that kept congregating in extremely dangerous places like near railway tracks and roads, or even police stations, often enough that it forced authorities across the world to issue statements with very crucial information such as "do not run into trees," which obviously in turn caused the media to start warning everybody that this game was going to kill your children.
Well, at the very least, it did stop people from running into trees. They were doing that a lot in the past.
Right now. Got a Pokemon? She's looking at Pokemon right now.
The list of Pokemon Go related incidents that contributed to the hit.
It is funny. Like, there were some issues with Pokemon Go because people are idiots, obviously, but it was a summer that brought the world together. That truly brought a lot of happiness to the world. And I think that even though I don't play it and I don't really care for Pokemon Go, I think that was a great thing. It healed the relationships.
Hysteria and controversy at the time is basically endless, but a couple of my favorites include one girl in the US who went to a river in search of a water Pokemon and instead came across a dead body, a guy in Oregon that said he got stabbed in the shoulder but didn't want to go to the hospital because that meant he couldn't keep playing the game, and if you're ever feeling down about yourself, just remember that at least you're not one of the numerous people who played Pokemon Go while driving a car. This is what
That's
happens
crazy.
when gamers actually go outside. There were so many of these reports and incidents that even Niantic had to release an official statement to be like, hey, what the fuck? Then, of course, there was the very unfortunate issue of the seemingly randomly generated Pokestops appearing in very inappropriate locations, like cemeteries or the US Holocaust Museum. The notorious...
Bro, no. Oh my god. That's bad.
An awful West...
I thought it was great because I had a Pokestop literally inside of my bedroom. For some reason, there was a Pokestop there. I think it was like some writer used to live in the same flat that I was living in at the time. So there was like a memorial to him on the side of the flat, and I just got to spin it all day. Didn't even have to go outside. It was great.
Baptist church in Kansas even appeared as a gym, which somebody hilariously placed a Clefairy called Love is Love in front of, which pissed them off so much that they started ranting on social media about it, calling Clefairy a sodomite.
Probably is, to be fair. You seen Clefairy? Definitely a sodomite, whatever that means. I think that's bad, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it's cool. Who knows? If they were that pressed about it, they should just downloaded the game and kicked it out. Replaced it with something else like hate gay people or something.
Sodomite.
I really doubt that any game is going to give us this many hilarious headlines and kick up that much of a stink from concerned parents anytime soon. But I wouldn't even say that Pokemon Go was the worst controversy the series has been involved in. The only one in this video that I'd say is big enough to rival the Battlefront fiasco would have to
Here we go.
The enormous backlash to Pokemon Sword and Shield for a number of reasons, but mostly because of the decision to not include all 5 billion Pokemon in the game. Made much worse, of course, course, by the then recently announced Pokemon Home app that would allow you to transfer Pokemon between games that would now only work if they were in the Galar Pokedex. And so began an international movement some were calling Dexit, which, okay, is pretty funny, that swept across the internet, where Pokemon fans united to spam every single post that the official Pokemon Twitter account made with hashtag bring back the national Dex.
This still blows my mind as to how big of a movement that actually turned out to be. I didn't know that people would care so much about this. When I woke up on that one E3 morning, the sun was shining, the birds were singing, the butterflies were butterflying, and I see on Twitter this clip of Junichi Masuda saying something along the lines of, oh, all the Pokemon won't be in the game. And that's how they announced it. Very weird way to announce it. I guess they didn't think it was that big of a deal. They were just like, yeah, I mean, all the Pokemon aren't going to be in the game, but, you know, there's a lot of them now, so that is what it is. And then people went absolutely mad. Still, people went absolutely mad. It was the most crazy thing of all time. I mean, to this day, I think that it would be nice to have all the Pokemon in the game for the sole purpose of it would make my job easier as a YouTuber, because when we do these Then We Fight videos and when we do these challenge videos, it's easier if there's more Pokemon because there's more variety that way. But if I was just playing through the game normally, I don't give a fuck. Who cares? Is it really that big of a deal that you can't use, God, I don't know, Tropius in Sword and Shield? Oh, I think you can, actually. That you can't use Kecleon in Scarlet and Violet? I know everyone has their favorite, but listen, my favorite was Arcanine, or Darkrai for the longest time. Darkrai wasn't in the games. I don't care. It doesn't really matter all that much. There's like 7 million other Pokemon that you can go and get. Not to say that, you know, Game Freak doesn't cut some corners, and that they may have used it as an excuse to push better animations, to which is questionable to some people, though there are some pretty good move animations in this game, to be certain. But this just got way bigger than I ever expected it to be. It's very strange. But the thing is, I don't think normal people cared about this. I think that it was only the most engrossed, loudest fans that you could find. And if you were to go out and find a random person on the street, ask them if they played a Pokemon game, they'll say, yeah, I played a couple Pokemon games. I played Ruby and Sapphire. You know, might play the new one, it looks fun. They don't care. They don't care about this kind of thing. Most normal people don't care. I do think it is a loud minority, and I do think it's always been a loud minority. You may think that it's not the case because you're so ingrained in the Pokemon community online, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's fine to be a part of a fandom. But if you think that someone that's a part of a fandom that is talking about this kind of thing all the time online is maybe like 5% of the people that actually buy the game, probably less than 5% of the people that actually buy the game, you realize that, oh, it really doesn't matter. In fact, most people just don't care about this. It's something that, it's just people that care super much about these really specific things in this really specific game series of games that release in their 7 out of 10s. Most people don't care though. Personally, I want the national Dex. I mean, I think if you were to ask anyone, like, do you want all the Pokemon or not all the Pokemon? People are like, oh, I want all the Pokemon. Like, yeah, of course you want more. Of course people are going to ask for more. But if you're not going to get it, you're not going to get it. Like, it's tough to easy. There was enough outroar. There was enough of an uprising to where Nintendo eventually, or Game Freak eventually responded. They were like, hey, we're sorry you feel that way, but yeah, we'll probably, like, introduce more in DLC or something like that. But going forward, they're probably not going to be in the game. Yeah, they're not going to be in the game. I don't think anyone cares that much anymore. You just get used to it eventually.
As if the intern running that account wasn't already miserable enough having to run the official Pokemon Twitter account. It was probably enough.
Oh my god, imagine being the Pokemon social media guy. When you post a picture that's like, I want to write you a love letter. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And people respond and like, bring back the National Dex! Where is Quilava? I'll kill you! Sending death threats to the social media guy that's just trying to make pancakes in the shape of Pikachus and post a picture of it because they think it's funny, or just trying to promote the new anime episode that came out. There's people in the comments that are like, I will destroy Game Freak! I need Kecleon! Where's Kecleon?
Inevitable that a series with over...
You would see the absolute worst of humanity being a social media guy for a children's video game series.
1,000 Pokemon now. Was eventually going to have to stop putting them all in every game unless you just wanted them to port the same low quality models in every new entry? Wait a minute. Game Freak claimed this was being done to not take up too much space, and also said they could focus on improving the quality of other areas of the game.
Yeah, that is, that's cap, definitely cap. He needs to get paid more. I imagine that most of the social media people that work for Pokemon are just like normal people that have like a normal life. They're not like super into the series. They don't really care all that much. So like they see the replies to all of these tweets and they see people like molding. They're like, they sit there in a circle. There's probably like 3 or 4 of them. And they're just like, look at these absolute fucking losers. Look at them. Look at this reply. Look at this reply, dude. He's molding. He's losing his mind on Twitter. Look at his, what? Look at his losers. I imagine they just make fun of them the entire time. It's when the death threats come in, that's an issue because the developers did get sent death threats because, you know, when a mild inconvenience is made in my fictional character video game series, that's the logical conclusion that we all jump to, right?
Right. They also said that the models in the game were being made from the ground up, which prompted Reddit detectives to data mine the game and investigate
we did it, Reddit.
That were just being ported from Sun and Moon. And so began another wave of Twitter spam with hashtag Game Freak lied. And though there was a very small effort...
Game Freak lied. People died. Game Freak lied. People died.
Positive one trending with hashtag Thank You Game Freak. It was...
This is funny. I don't really get the idea behind like thanking a video game company for making like, you know, pretty fun games that you like, but you're paying them to buy it. I don't know. It's like saying hashtag thank you Walmart for making this nice bread that I really like. It's really nice bread. Let's get a hand for Walmart. Yo, hey, thank you Walmart. I love the chocolate that you sell. I bought it with my money. Thank you. Companies don't care about you. That is true. But also I feel like the individual developers maybe deserve a little bit of a pat on the back sometimes because I imagine they don't get that, especially in Japan. Making games is really hard. And usually when video games come out and they're not good, it's because of a failure in leadership, not a failure in the developers specifically. It's a failure in the amount of time that they were given because God, making games is so hard. No one gets into game development because they want easy money. Trust me. You ever try to make a game before? Do you know how fucking hard making a game is? It's like impossibly difficult. If you were a programmer and you wanted easy money, you would go and do something else, not game development.
Was completely overshadowed by all of the basement dwellers. They did eventually add more Pokemon to the game through the DLCs, but because that was behind a paywall, I imagine that probably didn't help things very much.
I don't think it was behind a paywall. I'm pretty sure all the Pokemon that were added to the DLCs could be added via Pokemon Home. Like, you wouldn't be able to actually go to the DLC area, obviously, if you didn't buy the DLC. But there was an update that you would download that would add the Pokemon to the game anyway. So even if you didn't have the DLC, you could still trade for those Pokemon, so you could still get access to them via Pokemon Home and things like that.
I do think we can agree that it's understandable why people were upset about this, but I think it just got a little bit out of hand. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, as far as I know, also don't have every Pokemon ever made in the game either, but thankfully I didn't hear nearly as much about that as I did people complaining about the quality of the game. And
yeah, man, they really need to work on releasing finished products.
Now, a moment of silence to remember the absolute disaster that was the launch of the Xbox One. Microsoft's genius plan...
Oh, this is my favorite. Oh, I love this one.
Their brand new console included showing off such amazing features as always needing to connect to function, the fact that it would actively lock you out of playing used games, that it would always need an internet connection to play games, and that it would cost $100 more than the PS4.
What were they thinking? Oh my God. This was a disaster. This was my favorite part when they revealed the Xbox One. This was essentially the entire reveal.
TV experience. TV. TV and movies. TV. Xbox. Watch TV. 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 Watch TV. 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 TV remote. TV experience. TV. 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 Sports TV. 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 Anybody? TV. TV. And TV. 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 Xbox, go home. TV, 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 TV.
Sports, 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 sports.
Sport, television. Television, TV, television.
Television, 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 TV, TV, TV.
Xbox is about to become the next water cooler.
Sports.
Television, television, television. I'm thrilled to announce a live-action Halo television series.
Television, TV, sports, sports, sport.
Television, TV. TV, TV, TV for Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty. An entirely new Call of Duty for the next generation. Call of Duty.
What a game!
Call of Duty, Call of Duty,
Call of Duty, Call of Duty. One of the fascinating new additions to your squad is a dog. This is someone you
Dog!
Call of Duty, 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 Call of Duty. All of the new story element. Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty.
Our new.
This is my favorite expo of all time. It's all TV, sports, and Call of Duty. And the Call of Duty that they were advertising with Call of Duty Ghosts. Of all the goddamn games they could have had, Call of Duty Ghosts.
Sweet.
Fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Right.
So stick with 360. That's your message. If you don't,
Well, as is the pattern by now in this video.
Well, no, wait, hold on, wait, no. Back in 2013, not everyone had an internet connection. In fact, even in 2023, not everyone has a consistent or good internet connection based on where they live in the world. And if you don't have one, don't buy the new Xbox, I guess.
It caused such a big stink online that Microsoft quickly changed their mind only a couple weeks later and reversed most of these decisions and most importantly got rid of the damn Kinect. But regardless, they will never be able to undo the damage from getting savaged by Sony's response.
This was the end of Xbox.
How you share your games on PS4.
Thanks. And I think that might be a good place to...
That was the biggest own of all time. In 2013, that was GG's. That was the end of days. That was the apocalypse for Xbox. They saw that video, immediately, all of them crumbled into dust. I remember when that came out, I was like, oh, dude, that's it. That's GG's. They've just been owned. You can't come back from an owning like that. It's over. Completely forever. And that was the beginning of a string of events that led to them admitting that Xbox has locked the console. Metro, I'm not even using an ad blocker. What do you mean? I don't have one. Anyway, they said that they admitted that they lost the console war. Which is weird because like PlayStation doesn't have any games on it, but also Xbox doesn't have any games. So I guess just buy a Switch. That was a great video. I agree. I love talking about controversy. If you want me to react to a video, leave it in my Discord server.